Hello, YouTube! I am Pinstar, and this is 2 Point Hospital Strategy and Tactics Quick Tip. So today's tip is a sort of a revisit on some of my older opinions on one key factor of your hospital. So a lot of people will ask the question, Pinstar, what is the best diagnostic percentage to run with? The diagnostic percentage, by the way, is found in the policy screen right here. And essentially what this does is this will determine how far along the diagnosis treatment track the staff are willing to just wing it and guess at a cure. The upside to guessing at a cure, by the way, if you set this to, say, lower, say 85%, as long as somebody has reached 85% or higher of diagnosis certainty, after finishing that latest round of diagnosis, they'll be sent to treatment, no matter what their percentage is. Now, they may have gone through a particularly effective round of final diagnosis, and that might have pushed them to 100%, which is great. They'll get sent to treatment. But if someone has just been sort of plodding along with a difficult to diagnose illness, they might just limp into and just be barely at the 85% mark here, if you were to set your threshold to 85%. Now, what's the upside to lowering your percentage? Well, the upside is that it gets patients out the door. Essentially, rather than having them continuously clog up your diagnosis areas, your patients will, once it's good enough, according to your standards anyway, they'll be sent for treatment, and one way or another, after they hit treatment, they're out of your hospital. Either they're cured, the treatment failed, but they're alive, so they leave, or they die. But either way, they cease being your patient after they hit the treatment, and you get paid after they hit the treatment. So it gets you paid a little bit faster to have this diagnosis lower. Now, that being said, I personally I'm a little bit of a perfectionist, and while it is nigh impossible to prevent every single death, as anyone who is fishing for the no deaths trophy can attest, there is something to be said about setting your percentage higher, so that you can prevent this. My personal recommendation is actually 99%. This is where you want to sit, as long as if your diagnostics departments can keep up with your patient load, set it to 99%. This is my new recommendation. Now, why 99%? Why not 100? Well, the way diagnosis certainty works is it acts as a hard cap. If you're only 85% certain of someone's diagnosis, then the highest chance that your treatment will succeed is only 85%. It does not matter if you have a legendarily high-level treatment doctor or nurse working on a fully upgraded machine. It doesn't matter. That is a hard cap, the lack of diagnosis certainty. Now, there is one other hard cap that the game imposes. You physically cannot have a 100% chance of treatment succeeding. The game forces a 1% potential failure rate for all treatments, no matter how good your diagnosis is and how good your doctors and machinery are. As such, there's actually no reason to run a 100% diagnosis certainty, because sending people along at 99% certainty, that's the 1% that the game forces on you anyway. So now, is there going to be a large amount of difference between running at a 99 versus 100? Maybe not, but there's probably going to be a few edge cases where a patient reaches that 99% diagnosis, and the game will know to just send them along to treatment rather than have them continue to gum up your diagnosis works here and go for more diagnosis just for one more percentage that isn't going to matter anyway because of the game's 1% guaranteed failure chance. So that is my suggestion is whenever your hospital can handle it, run it at a 99. And this doesn't have to be a specific phase, early game, late game. If you can keep up with diagnosis, then you want to at a 99. Now, if you get a surge of patients, if your queues are starting to build up, especially your GP's queues, that's the biggest indication that your queues are getting bad, your diagnosis departments are falling behind, is when you start seeing gigantic GP queues. Basically, anything over 6 is bad, and I have mine set to give me a heads up when they reach 3, just so I know that, hey, maybe I should build another GP's office, or maybe some other diagnostics areas along the way. So that's my game for it, is keep it at 99 unless things start getting bad, then lower it just to act as a safety valve, just to get some patients out of your hospital, and also some money in your bank, which you can then use to quickly build more diagnostics capability that will get on top of all the patients, and then you can set the threshold back to 99. So I hope this tip is helpful to you. If you found it helpful, go ahead and hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and leave me a comment. Good, bad, or indifferent. Your feedback's always welcome. So until next time, this has been Pinstar signing out. See ya!